So welcome. This is a live broadcast of Prescription for Your Transformation. Hashtag new people, hashtag real conversation. Broadcasting live from the Bahamas. And for all those people up north that's really cold, it's also cold here in the Bahamas. As you can see, I got my jumper on and, just chilling out over here. So I'm excited today because have you ever thought about your dragons in your life, the big challenges, the obstacles that almost seem totally unsurmountable? And you basically have one of two solutions: either you decide to overcome them or you just bail out, whatever it is. The truth is that there are incredible, amazing, fantastic, and magnificent people out there in the world, and today is no exception for that I'm going to introduce. Really impressed with this guy, but more so because of his personal journey, a truly amazing journey. Hopefully we'll get to hear some of that today, but someone that I admire. And the reason I admire him because he does things not so much out of the ordinary, but something that stretches him totally to the limits so that he can overcome his own dragons. And this is truly very impressive. And when you listen to this guy, just know that the things that he's done are things that you can never imagine you could ever do yourself. And so hopefully he's going to share some of his crazy challenges. In fact, recently he did one, and that was, swimming in the ice water. So welcome, Brodie. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Bart. And hey, everyone, it's great to see you. Hope you're having an amazing day and hope you get a ton of value from our interview here today.
Well, absolutely. I know that we are going to get tremendous value. And one of the things that I like about what you do is, as a peak performance strategist, you help people overcome their challenges and actually change and transform challenges really into opportunities, and align people's mindset with their success. And so, how do you go about that? But let me ask you first, how did you come up with this mindset? Well, what is your mindset and this whole concept of facing your dragons?
There's a few questions in there for sure. So one thing I'll speak to first is mindset and the massive importance of mindset. And really, for myself, my own journey or quest, it's really in these past 2-3 months where I have come to knowing deep down inside that mindset is critical. It's almost everything. You mentioned the swimming in ice water. Maybe we'll talk a bit about that. But essentially, that's a training in mindset. What I'm here, here to share the message that you can do the impossible if the impossible is what you're guided to do. I talk about three things: mission, vision, and purpose. Everyone has some kind of a vision for your life. And if you have a vision for your life, it's there because it's achievable. How I came to facing dragons, I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just talk about what that means. So, the easiest way to introduce it is overcoming obstacles, but that's only a piece of the puzzle. So, dragons are the challenges, the obstacles, the hurdles that on our path, and they don't happen to us. They're here for us. These dragons literally are gatekeepers to our gifts, our greatness, and our growth. So to talk about overcoming our obstacles is really talking about slaying your dragons, which is one approach. For example, when you're about to get out on the stage and you're shaking in your boots and you've got to get out there and deliver, you got to slay that dragon and boom, just get out there and do it, right?
Right.
Facing dragons is about when that dragon shows up, that you face it and you find out, is this a dragon that I'm here to slay, or am I here to train and unite with this dragon? So back to overcoming obstacles. Facing dragons is not about overcoming obstacles. It's about transforming your obstacles, which are essentially fear, into essentially love or power or energy, however you want to put that. So this came from, it came in a few different ways. One was a couple of my favorite movies of all time, Avatar and How to Train Your Dragon. If you haven't seen those movies, definitely watch them. Avatar, think about it. He steps out on that rocky precipice, faces his death in order to unite with this dragon so that he can fulfill his mission and claim his identity, right? And if he doesn't, make that connection with the dragon, he's dead. How to Train Your Dragon. There's such a powerful scene in that movie where Hiccup, the main character, is just about to kill the dragon, and his compassion comes through, and he unties the dragon, and eventually they unite, and they both become stronger than they could possibly become on their own. Again, your challenges are the universe or God or the creation, however you want to put it, answering your call for what you say you want. Think about, for you as a listener here, what's a challenge you face? And what's something you've been asking for in your life? And I'm talking about, the bigger visions for what you really want, what you've been struggling to achieve or have or do or become. Those challenges are showing up to help you grow to become the person that can achieve that thing or have that thing. You're not there yet. Your dragons are here to help make you stronger. So again, really simply, it's not about overcoming the obstacles. It's about transforming those obstacles into opportunities.
I love what you say. I love what you said. I mean, and just, magically sort of opened up a whole dimension for myself when you use the word gatekeeper. Like, these dragons are your gatekeeper, because you're right. I mean, there's so much within us. There's that, this too. There's that 20x factor inside of us that, we kind of like are dipping our big toe in the hot bathtub to kind of figure out what's really inside of us. And sometimes it's just bound with fear because we don't know what we're going to open up. But truly, to live life to its fullest, you got to open it up. And so I love that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, anytime that I've wanted something so badly, anytime it's been like that, there is always a risk, and you just got to go headlong into it. And a metaphor I love to use, well, one of the reasons I love facing dragons is just a really cool metaphor, and it's fun to play with. But when you're taking that risk, you're literally running headlong, as I experience it, into this brick wall. And it's like you have to trust that. I mean, we're working with a set of powerful beliefs that your greatest challenges are your greatest opportunities. That needs to be a belief that you operate with, or you're going to steer away from those challenges, tragedies. But when you're running headlong into that brick wall, what I've always found is that the moment before you crash, like you hit that wall, it transforms into this thin veil. You go through it with ease, and on the other side is this incredible gift that you could have never imagined. And
I love that.
Let's talk about the freezing cold water as a great metaphor. Many of you have seen me do these different cold water shower challenges, cold plunges. And this year, a friend of mine was doing a fundraiser, and he said, I'm going to do 3 minutes in the water. Every minute I do, I get $100. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming with you. I don't know how long I'm going to be in the water, but we'll see. I figured I'd probably go in and out. I didn't want to make this, say I'm going to do it. Sometimes just being willing to take that step and show up is what makes the difference. So we filmed this. It's on Facebook. It's super funny. It'll crack you up. But we went in the water, and I go in every year, at New Year's. This time it was particularly cold. The water was 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. And it was like, I don't know, minus 20 Fahrenheit or 20 Fahrenheit and minus 10 degrees Celsius. And so it was cold. So we go in the water, and I've learned such powerful lessons just by doing that exercise. One is the moment I got in the water, it was the camera didn't matter anymore, right? That was between me and the creator. That's it. It was a powerful meditation. If you guys are interested in this stuff, one of the people who's teaching how to do this kind of thing is Wim Hof. He knows what he's doing, is awesome at it. And one of them was, this is between me and the creator. Second is, this is about doing the impossible. This is about doing something that, 2 minutes ago, my mind was going, you can't do that. That's impossible. And showing up and doing it anyway, being in that moment. So, and we started out talking about mindset. You got to find ways to train your brain, train your mind, expand and strengthen your mindset to see through the vision that you have for your life.
So you actually did almost close to 4 minutes, didn't you?
I did just under 3 minutes. If you watch the video, it's hilarious. I get out. I thought I did about a minute. One thing that I do in terms of this, one of the dragon principles is that we all have this inner guiding purpose system. I call it an inner GPS. And our body is a powerful feedback mechanism that will give us instant feedback, yeses, nos, answers, guidance instantly. And it's a physical response. And I do this with pretty much all of my coaching clients when they're making big decisions. And so in this polar bear plunge, I didn't set an intention to go for any amount of time. I went in and I said, I'm going to listen to my body, and when it tells me to get out, I'll get out. And I stayed in, and it was almost 3 minutes. I figured it was about a minute. I got this message from my body. It said, okay, put your head under. So I dunked and then got out of the water, and the alarm was going off. We set this timer, and I was just like, no way. 3 minutes? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I watched it. It was really funny. We'll have to put a link, but it's not just funny, it's impressive that clearly you're mastering your mind, if you will, to overcome, or less as you like to put it, transform that energy of whatever it is, it's fear or pain or discomfort, into some really purposeful action. And so
absolutely,
I'm sure not everybody has cold water to go into, and certainly I don't have it over here. However, if
you get ice, if you're committed, you can find a way.
No, I'm fine actually. So, one day I will.
It's just one way. There's so many ways.
No, I've done it before. In fact, I did it up in Norway, where that was a little scary though, because what we did is we made this hole in the ice of a lake, and then the hole was only about 3 feet wide, and so there's currents underneath, and so I was a little freaked out when I went in there. I did it.
Wow.
I didn't have
Facing
to do it again.
Your dragons right there.
Right there. So what do you tell people as to finding that mindset? I mean, do you have specific strategies or things that you share with your clients? Because I know you're a great coach and have lots of clients that have had their transformations. So what are some things that perhaps people can do to acquire that mindset?
Okay. So the most important thing in mindset are your beliefs. And it's absolutely one of the first things I focus on with anyone who's got, a vision that they're setting out to accomplish and they don't know how they're going to do it, or a goal. This is a great time of year. Everyone's talking about their goals. Well, I did a quick video recently on goal setting because, and I had a big breakthrough this year mapping out my goals. I was doing this mind map, and I got well into mapping out my goals for 2017, and all of a sudden it just hit me that the level of belief that they were actually going to happen as I was mapping this out was not 100%. And there was this question in me, and I realized that it's critical, and this is mindset training, it's critical that as you're mapping out your goals, as you're speaking about your goals, you are in absolute certainty. So that's why you want to carve out that space for yourself. Get intentional. Have an intentional, if you're setting those goals with other people, create a space for that, because when you're speaking about them, when you're writing them out, you want to be in absolute certainty. That's your belief that it's going to happen. And this is where the power of visualization, manifestation, law of attraction kicks in. And this is my biggest breakthrough of 2016. I've been visualizing for years, and it's blown my mind over and over and over. Originally started doing it just thinking like, whatever. I'm going to sit back on my couch. I'm going to visualize this thing. It's going to happen. I'm going to do what they say. I'm going to prove them wrong. And I did it, and it worked. And that could be another episode here, because so here's the thing. When you're setting a goal, and this is my biggest breakthrough of 2016, first of all, obviously, you want to write out your goal. You're getting it out of your head onto paper. You're making it crystal clear. You're not just saying what you want, what you're going to do. You're speaking about it and writing it and capturing it as if you have it now, as a result or an outcome. That's the first step. So what you need to do to lock it in is ultimately you need to believe it 100% in your core. And so even with the highest achievers, I'm talking with people this year who have set their goals. I'll ask them, and I'll ask you right now, what's a goal you set for 2017? Be honest with yourself. 0 to 10, what level of certainty do you have that it's going to happen?
You're asking me?
Well, I'm asking the viewers. How about you? Yeah, let's do this for real.
Well, I totally agree with you. I mean, I know that I get whatever it is that I commit to at a level 10 out of 10.
Okay, what's a goal of yours for 2017?
Well, my outcome for 2017 is by the summer that I get so much traffic and volume on this platform and help thousands and thousands of people. That's one of my outcomes.
Awesome. So this, I know this. This is why I have coaches, you have coaches, we all have someone else to help us get even, make that goal crystal clear, because more traffic, thousands and thousands, we need to make that more specific so that whatever it is, the creative force that we're working with gets it. What are you actually asking for? Get specific. Once you've got that down, written out, clarified, you need to believe it 100%. And you don't need to believe it all the time. That's not realistic. The way that our brains work, that's not realistic. You know what we're talking about here. We're second guessing ourselves all the time. But you need to have a moment of absolute belief. And that's sitting back, closing your eyes, stepping into that moment as if you're there now. And then here's the key. Spending, as much time there as you need until you trick that part of your brain that doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. It's the same part of your brain that when you're watching a movie, when a scary movie, you think, that killer's coming around the corner for real. You're shaking, you're sweating, or you're crying, or you're laughing. Part of your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. And you'll be able to watch that in your visualization, because the moment that part of your brain believes it, you'll get this emotional flood and you'll be like, holy crap, it's happening. This excitement will come up on you. That's the moment. It can take seconds. It can take minutes. It's simple. It doesn't have to take long, but it's a key step to take that step to the point where you believe it. And that's mindset. Essentially, when people are talking about mindset, they're talking about, are your beliefs aligned with the outcomes that you want?
And this is something that you do on a regular basis. It's not sort of like just do once and then move forward. I mean, you do this visualization, every day or several times per day?
So a couple examples of how I use this. Ideally, we do this every day all the time, right?
Right.
But for some reason, we don't, or I should own it and say, I don't. Here's the thing. I struggled, and here's an example of how I've used this. For one of my biggest breakthroughs was I struggled with a fear of public speaking for 30 years, like a physically paralyzing fear of public speaking. My body would physically freeze. And when I started training as a coach, I wanted to break that shell. I needed to grow, and I made a decision that I was no longer willing to struggle with that fear. That I was going to transform it, overcome it. I didn't care. I was going to slay that dragon, whatever. And I made that decision, and then literally within the next week, a friend of mine came up and said, "Hey," and I didn't tell anybody. I said, "Hey, we're going to do this play. Do you want to be part of it?" And it was everything that I had ever feared. I played like 18 different characters. What terrified me most was people laughing at me, making an ass out of myself. And that's all I did for the entire 2.5 hour play.
Wow.
So it was everything that I was afraid of. But here's what I did, and here's how I used mindset, visualization. We had 4 weeks to memorize this entire novel, all our parts, and then it was a 2.5 hour play. We did 2 nights. When I read the script, my body froze up, my knees were knocking, and everything in me wanted to say, "No way, just run, like say no." But I knew that if I said no, one thing I knew that it was everything I'd asked for, everything I was most afraid of, and this was my opportunity that the dragon that I'd called upon my path. And I said, when I read that, the script, I told my brain, I literally made a command. When they ask you if you're in, you just need to command your lips to say the word yes. That's how much I wanted to say no. And I said yes. Over the next 4 weeks, I did 4 visualizations. That's it. Maximum 30 seconds each. And it was the first time I'd ever taken meditation and combined it with visualization. And at the deepest part of my meditation, it was like planting a seed. I would visualize for about 15, 20 seconds. And I'd visualize myself on the stage. In my element was one of the themes. Total success was another. It was sold out. And just saw myself fully enjoying that moment. That's exactly what happened. And I have a deep passion for speaking now, and like anyone, everyone has nerves and that, but I overcame my fear. I transformed that fear into power through 4 20-second visualizations.
Well, I know you have tremendous gifts and tremendous talents. I've known you for the last couple of years, and I always really appreciate, you sharing the journey that you've gone through. And clearly, you're walking the talk. And so as a coach, that means a lot. And so,
That's where we get our power.
Yeah. I mean, your
It's where we
clients
get
are.
our ability. Yeah. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So this end of 2016, I made one of maybe the biggest, took the biggest risk of my life. And I was working for a company and I wasn't growing anymore. I kept hitting these walls. And a couple months ago, I said, it's okay. I can, shift some things around. I can make it work. No, it didn't work. So end of 2016, I sat back in my chair. I did 2 visualizations. One, I imagined myself staying with the company and walking that path. And it was like my gut, my GPS just contracted. This dark tunnel just closed in front of me. I let that go. And then I imagined myself moving forward, leaving the company. And it was like everything opened. Big bright light, open path in front of me, all the tension in my body gone. I called up the company and said, I'm moving on. And it's one of the scariest, biggest risks I've ever taken in my entire life, because I've been playing around on the side with my own business, this whole facing dragons thing. What I realized is it's been a hobby. I've had this comfort zone with this job, and it's like I burned the boats to build the business. I'm fully trusting my intuition, my inner GPS, trusting the universe, trusting creator, whatever you want to call it. And I feel so alive. It's crazy.
Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'd like to slowly wrap it up, and I do want to ask you one question, and then we'll wrap it up by letting people know about your amazing podcast series and how people can actually reach you. My question for you, Brodie, is this: is that we talked about this a little bit before, but how is it that you define success? Because success means so many different things for so many people, and as you and I know, I think a lot of people don't even understand or have the clarity of what success is for them. So how do you help people define their success, and what is it for you?
Okay. So I've created a few different quests, I call them. There's a student leadership quest, super passionate about youth. I go into schools and run them through all these different Facing Dragons quests. It's a leadership quest for students. Last year I did two purpose quests, helping people unlock their purpose. In terms of success, it's critical that we define success for ourselves. And I would say that most people haven't consciously. And if you haven't defined success for yourself, you're living with someone else's definition of success.
Right.
And chances are, if you're in Western culture, which is pretty much the whole world now, that definition of success is all based around money and popularity or fame.
Right.
And in that case, the other part of it is that definition of success will never be enough. You'll never be there. It will never be enough because we're conditioned by media, mainly media. Think about a commercial. Think about the commercials we grew up with as little kids watching our Saturday morning cartoons. Every 10 minutes, these commercials come on and say, hey, you need this. When you get this, you're going to be happy. You're going to have friends. You're going to be successful. You're going to have enough. And so you go and get it. The next Saturday morning, you turn on the TV. Hey, you're not enough. You need to get this thing. Then you guys, it's a endless cycle of never having enough. And if it's not enough, then you're not enough. Right. So honestly, it's not about success, even though there is no other feeling on the planet like true success. Give yourself the gift of defining success so you can feel success. But ultimately, it's about being enough. And I went on this journey to define success. You'll find a ton of interviews on my podcast where I'm interviewing all these amazing people around the planet on their definition and their journey of success and asking them without telling them in advance, do you consider yourself successful and why? My definition of success is, in order to be successful, all I need to be doing is pursuing a meaningful goal. Most people, they don't know what they really want. Not what they want, what they really want. So if I'm pursuing a meaningful goal, it means, one, I know what I want and I'm going for it. That to me is success. When I get there, awesome. That's success too. But I'm successful now because I'm pursuing many meaningful goals. And the crazy thing is, and I didn't realize it was this powerful when I set out on this journey, is I am enough. I don't have to do any more. I can literally be flailing in my business or my relationship or in physically. I can be in a tough place in my life. Outwardly, maybe it looks like failure, but I can be successful. And I think the opposite of success isn't failure, because you need to fail to succeed. I believe the opposite of success is regret. Looking back on your life at all those things you didn't do, all those opportunities you didn't take. Yeah. So do yourself a favor. Define success in your own way.
Well, very well put. So how can people find you, Brodie?
Facing Dragons. FacingDragons.com, Facing Dragons on Facebook, Instagram, mainly on Facebook.
Nice.
I have a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher and on the Facing Dragons website called Facing Dragons. Super simple. Yeah, and I would say, if there's a call to action for listeners and viewers, I would say check out the Facing Dragons podcast, subscribe, please leave a review, help me get it out there and share it out. And if you want to explore opportunities to work together, then just look me up, Brodie Whitney. That's BRODIE WHITNEY, Facing Dragons, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Sounds great. And then anybody reaching out to you, you know what? You're in for a treat. Brodie is an amazing human being, really helping you discover your passion, your truth, your internal GPS, and your way to transform your fears, your obstacles into an energy that creates the future that you want. Brodie, thank you so much. It's been an honor and privilege.
Absolutely.
I look forward to many more of these in the future with you. And
you too, Bart. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing and helping people get their message out. So needed. Thank you.
Well, likewise, and you do the same. And we are like two peas in a pod in a sense. We were helping the world, and we started some of our trainings together. And look at us now, just changing the world. One person at a time. And loving.
We're
what
in this
we do
together.
Yeah, we sure are. So, Brodie, thank you. I am Dr. Bart Rademacher, prescription for your transformation. #real people, #real conversations, bringing new voices, new solutions, your transformation for you so that you can change life the way that you desire. So thank you so much. And I will be back again broadcasting live from the Bahamas, the cold Bahamas, but I'll be back here tomorrow. So thank you.